Okay, so today we're gonna looking for that transient structural analysis. In our past session, we see about what is static structural and what kind of loadings we can apply in that static structural, and what kind of results we can looking for that in that analysis. What are the advantages and disadvantages in static structural? Okay. The main thing difference between the static and transient structural analysis is time dependent load conditions. So you may notice that a transient structural analysis defined by involving the loads that are function of times. So what is that function of time? So that means the load can be vary with respect to time. So according to the time. So at 0 second there may be a one load. At at 1 second there won't be another load conditions. So here we have a two different configuration. So we have one configuration and second configuration. We were looking for the first configuration. What is that? So for that I will use an example of a cantilever problem. So these rod is fixed at one this end. Okay, and when we apply a bending load in that first scenario, you can notice that at 0 second you applied a load of 10 Newton. At 1 second you apply a load of 15 Newton. At 2 seconds you can apply a load of 30 Newton. Okay, so at third second the load may be minus 5 Newton. So the direction may be differ, but all this scenario the position doesn't vary, only the load condition can vary. So the same position the load may be increased or decreased, or its magnitude may change the sign. Okay, so the direction may be differ. Okay, and in scenario 2, the case 2, what happened? Okay, so everything is same. So at 0 second in this point the load is 10 Newton. At 1 second the load is applied on this point here in opposite direction. So that that position may be differ. At 2 second the load may be applied in this point, maybe here. At third second it may be applied in this direction on this point. Okay, it can varies the position. So either two possibilities can occur, scenario 1 and scenario 2. So both of them are in the case of transient structural analysis, and it is a non-linear analysis. So first I want to register that it's a non-linear analysis. We can also perform a linear analysis, which is less accuracy while comparing to that static. So we always recommended to do static structural first, and then you go for a transient structural analysis. So first is you need to perform the static. So if it is the solution interval is very too small, so in which case I choose static, in which case I use transient structural. So that is the main question between so many people. So how can I identify that? So whether my load is changed with respect to time or not in real time. So always the load can be vary with respect to time, right? So we have some cases. For example, in this room you'll have a chair, right? So obviously you sit in that chair, right? So we can divide this analysis. So first you have ideally sit for that chair for a 45 minutes. Throughout the 45 minutes the load is constant, it doesn't vary. If you are a 65 or a 60 or 70 kgs, so that is a ideal load. So constantly for the 45 minutes that load should be doesn't varies with respect to time. Okay, so we can solve this scenario. So for example your analysis is between that any 5 minutes, maybe it may be a 10 seconds or 20 seconds, that is only comes under in between that 45 minutes. You can consider it as a static structural analysis. You can go for static structural. But in the case of when you enter the room, you are going to sit on that chair. Okay, so maybe it takes 3 to 2 seconds, right? maybe not more than 10 seconds. You can directly come to the chair where you want to sit, and you can sit there may at least 10 seconds. Okay, so during that time, so ideally at the beginning of the analysis there is no load at all on the chair. Okay, so after you sit on that chair, the load may be raised from 0 to up to 65 or 70 some cases. So you want to capture that transition from the 0 to 75. So you want to capture these part. So after that, for a 45 minutes there is no change, so 75 at all. It's up to that 45 minutes of duration, it's 75. So either if you want to do the analysis on this part or this part, this is for static part and this is for transient structural. The load is changing. Okay, so that is what I'm trying to explain here. And in this mechanical application, you can perform a transient analysis on either flexible structures or rigid assemblies. That is possible. You can perform transient structural analysis on both structures and assemblies also. And the next thing is, one sec. These types of analysis is used to determine the dynamic response of a structure under a action of any general time dependent load. So these word is very important, that is time dependent. So your load can be vary with respect to time. So you can use it to determine the time varying displacement and strains, stresses, forces in structures. So obviously your stresses and strain values can also differs with respect to time. Okay, so the time scale of loading is such as inertia and damping effects are considered to be important. So I think you all know about these points like inertia and damping effects while we talk about the static structural analysis. So these inertia and damping effects cannot be included in the static structural, but we can include the inertial effects and damping effects like sudden loading. When we hit a hammer on any structure, so these kind of loads cannot be included in the static structural. Okay, so we can include that loadings also in transient structural analysis. Okay, and if inertia and damping effects are not important, you may able to use a static structural analysis instead. So like I said before, if you are either your analysis in the beginning stage or in the ideal stage, like 45 minutes of duration in between, if your analysis take places, and like always you don't looking for the inertial and damping effects, you can obviously go for static structural rather than go for a transient structural analysis, because it takes a lot of time for pre-processing also and solving also. Okay, so that is the thing I want to explain over here. So why it takes a lot of time to solve? Can anyone in structural analysis, I mean transient structural analysis, it takes usually a lot of time while comparing to a static structural analysis? Manoj and others. Raj Balaji. Any idea? So usually it takes a lot of time to solve. We can easily solve I mean, what is that transient structural analysis? So I mean static structural analysis. Any idea?
Yeah, as
Yes.
load is varying, so analysis will take more time.
Okay.
Yeah, for different load, it has to sum up, right? Like
Okay,
that.
so the thing is, yeah, it's very common. The loads maybe differ with respect to time. So obviously the calculation and solution part is too complicated. So the equation solve by the software is also a very difficult pass. I mean, it has to create the stiffness matrix and then have to solve the entire equations, right? And what happened here is, I think you know about this equation, mx plus Cx k is equal to force. So ideally it's a common equation which is solved by the solver. So it actually applies the stiffness matrix. You know about that k factor matrix. So what happened here is in that static structural analysis we ignore the inertia and damping effects. So that means we ignore these two parts. We only solve the kx equal to f, these part only, so it can easily solve. But in this analysis we include the both inertial effect and damping effects, so that is why it takes a lot of time to solve. But it's a these equation is called equation of motion. So if you Google it, you will get a lot of information regarding that equation. So this is what happened in the back end of the software. Okay. So ideally the point is we include the inertial and damping effects, and the load is varies with respect to time. Okay, what next? And when I move on to the next slide, it shows that a transient structural analysis can either be a linear analysis or non-linear analysis, and hope you will know about that, what is linear analysis or non-linear analysis. If you get a graph like this, it's a linear, and if you get a graph like this, it's a non-linear analysis. So you can easily check out that graphs. Either we have two different methods to define this curve, either stress strain life curve or a strain life method, like strain life method and stress life method. So either you can use both methods to define these curvature, or else if you are using a linear, so obviously it doesn't matter. And all type of non-linearities are allowed. I also tell this in our previous session what kind of what is that non-linearities. We have three types of non-linearities, that is geometrical non-linearities and surface non-linearity and contact non-linearities. So either one of the non-linearities which is included in your problem, that entire problem will converted as a non-linear analysis. Obviously it takes a lot of time to solve a non-linear analysis because there is no assumption at all, right? So in linear the accuracy may be very low, not very low, it's comparatively little bit low, but it has a lot of assumptions. Okay, but non-linear is doesn't have any having some assumptions, but not having more assumption while comparing to the linear. So Ansys Workbench offers an additional solution method that is called mode superposition to perform a linear transient structural analysis. Okay, so in the beginning I say that while you solve a transient structural analysis, usually it takes a lot of time to solve. So that is why Ansys offers a method that is called mode superposition method. So to identify or solve the problem rapidly, but obviously the accuracy may be a little bit low comparing to the full method. There is two methods. One is full method and another one is mode superposition method. A mode superposition method is we need an additional analysis system, that is a model analysis, and you guys are know about that model analysis. While we do a free run analysis, we perform a model analysis to identify the natural frequency of a particular component, or else that response of that component during the natural frequencies. Okay, so we know that the component is the component behavior is more aggressive on the natural frequency. We need to eliminate that natural frequency. Okay, so when the external force for every force applied to a component, there might be a vibration in that component, right? So if I apply a force, so I have a cube like this. If I randomly apply a force on this space, on this space, on this space, obviously it vibrates. The thing is the developed vibration, so the output vibration due to the external force cannot be matched with the natural frequency of this component. So if it is matches, the component will be destroyed or break itself. Okay, so that is called a resonance, right? And we use the natural frequency as an input to solve the problem more rapidly. We will see in our practical session how to use this mode superposition method to solve both transient structural analysis. We also the same procedure for vibration analysis, like harmonic analysis, random response. Not for random response, we only use harmonic analysis, and spectrum analysis also. Okay, in mode superposition method, the transient response to a given loading condition obtained by calculating the necessary linear combinations of okay. So it gets too theoretical itself. So it's better to explain these kinds of stuffs in our software, I mean practical sessions. Okay, and also try to understand how non-linearities, if you are including them, affects the structure response by doing a static first. So in some cases non-linearity is not to be included in dynamic analysis. Okay, so why they actually said that means, so whenever you include a non-linearities, already the transient structural will takes a lot of time. So if you are including a non-linearities analysis, a lot of factors are included, the problem get too complicated. If you are having a very poor kind of mesh, obviously you can't get the solutions. So also the expensive in terms of solution time. So this is the main thing. So sometimes they not included the dynamic for the, I mean the properties of non-linearities in dynamic analysis. It's better to do a linear analysis on while performing a dynamic analysis. It's not a static, it's a dynamic analysis. Okay, so yep, so we recommended to do a linear analysis to when you are going to perform a dynamic analysis. Okay, so don't include non-linearities. Good, so that is all for a little bit theory session before enter into a static structural analysis. And when I open the software, and for this time I'll use a transient structural analysis system. So just drag and drop it. There is nothing difference between this, only these names differ and some option may differ in the mechanical environment, but the engineering data and then geometry, everything is remain same. So what we're gonna do here is I just want to solve a problem like a bridge structure. It should be look like this. So I want to apply a varying load on this face and this face, this face, this face. So ideally what I actually assumed is, so I have a bridge structure, so my vehicle is in there, or else it may be a truck, whatever it is. So it is moved in this direction. So it takes 5 seconds to cross this bridge segment. So it's a segment of bridge. So from position A to position B it takes 5 seconds. Okay, at 0 second it is here, at 1 second it is here, and 2 second, 3 second, and 4 second, and 5 second it may be here. Okay, that is my analysis. During this transportation or varying of load, what happened in the bridge structure, so that is what I am trying to analysis. So it's a kind of a dynamic analysis we can perform by using transient structural. Good, so first I need to create the geometry. It's very easy, and just double click on design modular. Okay, just select XY plane and say look at sketching. A rectangle structure. So before do any sketching, so just change the unit system to millimeters and say look at. Good, and again go to rectangle. So I want to make it as a symmetrical one. Symmetry. So this is my symmetrical axis and these two segments. Dimensions, what is it, length, maybe 200. So we have to split that phases, right? So 2020 we can split into 5 segments. And what should be the height? Maybe at 25 or 30, either you need. So I need 25. Okay, so we'll give a value of 30. And also I need an line segment over here. From here to here, it's a vertical, horizontal, vertical. Okay. Yep. So go to constraints, maybe 35, and it should be, yeah, 35. So I want to mirror this. All we need to do here is go to constraints and say okay, in modification itself we have an option called a replicate. I want to select these 1, 2 and 3. Right click and say end and say paste handle, and this is my point. Right click, flip horizontal. Okay, fine. So it is mirrored, and if you want to trim the part, so just trim that, these line segment as well as these. Okay, now it is trimmed. All we need to do here is just extrude this whole entities. Okay, so it is actually extruded, but this part is not gonna extrude. So okay, delete the structure, make sure whether it is trimmed or not. Okay, go to sketching. Okay, it is actually not trimmed. Modify, trim, select these entities. So okay, now it is trimmed, and try to extrude now. Okay, fine. So I want to extrude up to a 40 mm. And now it does look like a bridge structure. Okay, but for a varying load, so now right now it is a single phase, so we have only a single phase, so we can't apply a load a variant load on a same phases, right? So when I try to apply a force, the force is equally distributed on all over the phase. It's not good to say that all over the phase, all over the nodes on this particular phases. Okay, so that is the right thing. So the load can be equally distributed among the each and every nodes which is take places on the phases. Okay, we have to split the phases into 5 pieces, because I am assuming that these analysis can be performed by 5 sets of segments. Okay, so how should I? So literally it should be like this: 1 and 2, 3, maybe 5. So but in equal distance: 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5. Okay, for that what I will do here is so just select this face and say sketch, look at line segments. From here to here I need a line, it's a vertical line. Also here again it's a vertical. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You need a 4 sets of line: 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And 200 divided by 5, that is, what is that?
40.
Yeah,
40.
20 or 40?
40.
40.
40.
Okay. Okay, so just mark the dimensions. Okay, fine. It's 40 horizontal. Okay, good. So all we need to do here is just make all it as 40, 40, 40. Good. Now the sketches are created. By using this sketches, I need to split the faces into multiple pieces. So for that we have an option called go to tools. We have multiple ways to split that. I use one method. If you want to use another method, you can go to tools. We have an option called face split. So by using slice also you can do the same operation. There is nothing difference between the two methods. So I just select the target face and my tool body. Make sure you are in the edge selector mode and select this. Press Ctrl to select all the entities and say apply. Click on generate. Good. Now it is created. So turn on the face selector. So this is my first face and second face and third, fourth and fifth. Okay. Now we can apply the force on different phases like here and here and here and here. Fine. Everything is done. Our geometry part is okay. I will move on to the next step, that is mechanical. So up to this, do you have any doubts which is regarding our theory session or in the geometry creation? You can. Okay, now our model is get loaded in the mechanical itself. So make sure your material is correctly assigned or not, that is structural steel. In this analysis I need a structural steel. Okay, everything is fine, and yep, so the properties, that is also good. Okay, so go to meshing and right click and see generate mesh. Okay, it's a good quality of mesh. So still you want to view the quality of the mesh, you can change the element quality. You will notice that some of the elements may be having a poor quality, so that doesn't make any sense over here. So in our analysis we don't looking for the proper quality of mesh. Still you want a good quality of mesh, either you can reduce the meshing quality, I mean size of the meshing, or else you can use a different varieties like meshing methods and sizing factors like also. Yep. Furtherly, so in transient you will notice that there is an option called initial condition, and also there is a question mark in the analysis setting. So this is new in this analysis settings. So like when I say right click insert, all the options which are take places in the static structural analysis or also take place in transient also, like forces, remote force, bearing load, like that, fixed support, displacement. So whatever the force you can include it from here itself. Yep. So in that initial condition, it says that model is none. What does it mean that model is none? That means we don't included the model data. In our theory session a couple of minutes ago I said that we have two different methods to solve the transient structural analysis, that is mode superposition method and full method. For the full method we can directly came here for the transient structural. We don't need to do modal analysis. But for a mode superposition method, first you need to perform a modal analysis. After doing the modal analysis, you need to couple this analysis to a new transient structural. So all we need to do here is you need to transfer the entire data from the modal analysis to a transient structural analysis. After that, when you came back to the transient analysis, you will notice that a mode superposition analysis is included. Right now it says none. So none of the data from the modal analysis. So we will see how to do that in our upcoming sessions. So right now it doesn't include. So obviously it takes a lot of time to solve this problem. So although it's a very simple block, so these problem doesn't take a lot of time. Okay, so when I click on the analysis setting, you will have a lot of options like step controls and solver controls, current time steps and auto time stepping, these kinds. Okay, let me explain one by one, so be clear. So this is very important. Okay, so we need to give a time dependent load, right? So for that we have two methods to define a variable load conditions. Okay, so first is number of steps. Okay, so by defining the number of steps, right now it is under 1. So either you can solve the problem by defining one step, so only one step, so it doesn't have 2 or 3 or 4 steps. So these one step is end up in 10 seconds. Okay, so in 10 seconds you can assign a value. So this is these entire analysis is completed by using one step, so it takes 10 seconds to solve. Okay, so this is a one method, or else these seconds cannot be changed. It's a default one. My analysis is I want to perform my analysis in 10 seconds. So how you actually define that in the software? So that is why we have two different methods. Like in first method you can assign only one time step, so these time step can be done in 10 seconds. Okay, your analysis gets solved. This is one method. What is that another method? That time doesn't vary, that is 10 second my analysis, but this time what I will do here is my number of steps is 5. Okay, so each and every step has a time value of 2 seconds. So 2 into 5, ideally we get a value of 10 seconds. Okay, why this difference? So what I will do here is while viewing the result you can assign the load, or else you can get the deformation value in this manner. Like I want to view my result for every 0.5 interval. So although you know that it's 10 seconds, it starts from 0th second. So if you say that your interval is 0.5 in every time, here you notice tabular data, so it shows results after completing that analysis. So you'll get like this 0.5 and 1 second and 1.5 and 2.5 and 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 5.5 up to 10, 9.5 and 10. So you will get a gradual interval of output. But in some cases you want to use in this case you can use only one step. Your solution interval doesn't varies, right? So you have a proper set of interval, that is 0.5. It does not varies. So if it is an 5 second analysis, your analysis is performed by in a 5 seconds. Second is 5. From here to here it takes, the solution interval is 0.5. So it shows a result at 0 and 0.5 and 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5 and 5. So this is the set. It shows at 10 sets. This is 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 0.1, 0.5, 1, 1.5, you know that. You can go for only one step. But in some cases, the scenario may be differ. I need a 0.5 interval during these. It's okay, here it's okay, and here it's okay, here it's okay, here it's okay. But in this region, especially in this region, between 1 to 2 seconds, I needed 10 sets of results. 10 sets. What does that 10 set means? So 10 sets means a 0.1 of interval. So I need a results for every 0.1 seconds during this part. Only for this part, not for this. Okay, so it is okay to view the result for the segment up to 0 to 1. I need 3 result for 0 1 result and 0.5 1 result and 1 results. That is okay. But after that, between the 1 second to 2 seconds, I need 10 sets of results. The solution interval may be 0.1. For every 0.1, I need a results. So here you only have lots and lots of results. So these cannot be included in the step number 1. So only one step. So in this these kinds of scenarios, you can go for a multiple number of steps. So you can use a 5 steps. Okay. In step number 1, you can define a solution interval of 0.5. In step number 2, you can define a solution interval of 0.21. Step number 3 up to 4, you can define 0.5. Okay. So while you do this kind of methods, you'll have a lot of flexibility in viewing the result. Okay. So a cluster of results can be identified or gathered, get from the particular seconds. So this is the one advantages of using a multiple number of steps. We will try the both methods. How should I actually get a results by using these and multiple number of steps also. Okay, so this is the theory part. If you don't understand clearly, that is not an issue. So when we do the analysis part, you will obviously get what I'm trying to explain here. Yep. So we will move on to our next step. So that is what they are trying to give the options. So we don't yet go for these. So we're only looking for this. So this is very important. Yep. So first we will define our loading condition. Right now, first I use only one number of steps, and we will go for 5 number of steps next step. Yep. Number of steps is 1. For a 1 number of steps, you don't need to bother about this current number of steps. If you have a 5 number of steps, you have to define one by one. That current step is 1 and 2, 3. You have to change it. But right now, only one step is there. Obviously, the current step cannot be changed beyond the 1 because it has only one step. Okay. Step ending time. What is your analysis duration? That is what they say, that step ending time. So if your analysis is a 5 second, you can give 5 seconds. If your analysis is a 10 second, you can give a 10 seconds. My analysis is a 5 second analysis. I just give a value of 5 and say enter. And also you have an option called auto time stepping. So right now I turn off this. We will see this. What is that auto time stepping? A couple of minutes after. So we will complete this. So right now it says that time step for transient analysis should be turned on, but you can safely ignore that warning. And defined by time. You need to enter the time step intervals. So I am talking about the interval, right? So from here to here, my analysis is end up. So starting from 0 and ended at 5 seconds. It is 0 second. Okay, it can be splitted like this. Maybe if I give a value of 0.5 here, 0.5, time step value. For every 0.5 I get a result. If I give you give a value of 0.3, I will get a results at every 0.3, 0 second, and 0.3 and 0.6 and 0.9. So it will be incremented like that. So whatever the value I give over there, that value will be incremented. So I get a results. For now I need a 0.5 interval of solutions. So in the meanwhile, if you have any doubts, you can always ask. And I use a value of 0.5. Okay. Right now there is no yellow indication, and also you notice that everything is assigned. It says that a green color tick will be created over there. Fine. We need to assign the load. Right click and insert. First I want to fix the base. Right click, insert, fixed support, these and these. Also I want to fix these edges. Why should I want to fix these edges? Not this face, these edges only. First apply this and right click and insert, fixed support. Make sure you are in the edge selector mode and select these edge and these edge and click on apply. That means what does it means, right? The adjacent elements cannot be disturbed, like means it is actually a continuation. It's continued some other blocks over there. So also these position also continuous one, so that is why I'm giving that edges as a fixed one. Literally you have a support over here, so these blocks opposes the motion of this face, so that is why I'm fixing these edge. So if it is the starting point of the bridge, I'm not supposed to do this. Okay, so I will free this end, but I am assuming that these bridges extended over these position and these, these direction, two directions, here and here itself. Okay, one sec, somebody's get enter. Okay, மகாதேவ் நம்ம வந்துட்டு ஒரு 15 minutes கழிச்சு வந்துட்டு ஜாயின் பண்ணு, ஓகேவா?
ஓகே ப்ரோ, ஓகே.
ஆல்ரைட். ஓகே, ஃபைன். Good. So the next thing is we need to assign the load, right? So right click and say insert, force, so make sure you are in the face selector. So I want to apply the force on this face and click on apply, and the load may be 2000 Newton. So due to that there might be a vehicle, so it expresses a force of 2000 Newton in this direction. Like, so right now it is in the perpendicular direction. I want to reverse it and say negative. So you will notice that there is either you can give a negative value or else you can use this arrow. So now the direction may be deferred. Okay, so here one interesting thing is that, so when I include the force, you will notice that there is a option called a tabular data. In that it start from 0 and end up with the value of 5. So at 0 second the load may be, it's in the ideal condition, we can say it as a 2000 Newton. At 1 second this load is moved to the position 1 to 2 and 3 4 5, like always it can be moved like this. So at 0 second it is here, at 1 second it is here, at 2 second it is here, 3 and 4. Okay, so 5 second is not take places over here. Maybe we can consider that it is actually moved after 1 second. So at 0 second it may be here, we assumed that at 0 second it may be here, at 1 second it came here, and 2 second and 3 second it is here, 4th second and 5th second. Okay, so at the 0 second there is no load at all, right? In this phase, I'm talking about this phase. So we actually applied the force on this phase, so that is why at 0 second there is no load at all. At 1 second there will be a load, that is 2000 Newton, and at 2 seconds there won't be any load because these vehicle is actually moved from this phase to this phase. So at 2 second there is no load here, so we can use 0. So 2, that is 0, and 3, that is 0, 4 also 0. Why? Because at 2 second the load is here, 3 second load is here, there is no load at all here, so that is why I am giving a value of 0 0 0 0. Okay, in this manner you have to give the forces for all the phases. So like I said before here, and I want an additional force, so in this phase click on apply, and that is 2000 Newton. So the direction is reversed, and click on apply. In this scenario, at 0 second there won't be any load, at 2 second there won't be any load, at 5 second there is no load, at wait a second, at 1 second there is no load, 2 seconds there is a load, at 2 second there will be a load, because from here to here it takes 1 second, here to here it takes 2 seconds, and for 3rd second there won't be any load at that phase. Okay, so either you can include 4, or else you can simply say at 5 second it is 0. So you will notice that there is a graph like this. You can simply ignore that 4, so you don't need to include all the values at all. Okay, so after that, right click insert and say force. I want to apply on this phase, and click on apply. The same value, that is 2000 Newton. Change the direction and click on apply. From here to here it takes 3 seconds. At 0 second obviously you know that there is no load at all. At 2 seconds there is no load at all. 2 0. So I am not including that what is that 1 second, because at 0 to 2 there is no load at all. I am simply say that 0 second it's 0 load, at 2 second it is 0 load, at 3 seconds there will be a load, that is 2000 Newton, and click on enter. At 4th second there won't be any load, at 5th second there won't be any load. Okay, so you'll notice that the curve should be like this. The graph indicates the type of loading conditions. Okay, and say right click insert and click on force. So these phase, and say apply, and 2000 Newton, and change the direction. Yep, so I have changed the direction. After that we need to define the loadings. So at 0 second it is 0, at 3rd second it is 0, so only a 4th second it takes load, right? That is 2000 Newton. At 5th second it is 0. So now we will notice that it should be like that. Yep. Finally, so we have only one loading condition, that is these phase, and click on apply, and enter the value of 2000 Newton and change the direction, the negative, and click on apply. And also we need to define that at 0 second up to 4 second there is no load at all. So 0, you can simply enter the value 4, that is 0. Yep. So 0 to 4 there won't be any load at all. So actually these vehicle is traveling from phase 1, 2, 3 and 4. So after that, in the 5th second, it came here. Yep. So we have these kinds of loads.
Between 4 to 5, it's increasing linearly,
Yes.
right? Yeah, it will increase linearly only, right?
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Right. So when you go to that analysis setting, you will clearly notice that what is the combination of loads. So first it will start from here and here and here. Okay. So make sure all the loading conditions are corrected or not. So after that, support is okay, force is okay. We are looking for a total deformation, and one was a stress tool, or else go to stress. You will have an option called equivalent one versus, and try to solve it. Let's say hello. Good. So when I try to solve this, you will get an animation like this. Okay, right now it is too fast. What I will do is I just make the animation little bit slow and change the frame rate to 100 frames. Okay, so actually it turns to a true frame, so I want to amplify it. Auto scale. Okay, it deforms too large. Maybe it's fine. So you will notice that how actually our load is propagated from here to here. It actually propagated. Yes. AutoCAD. யார் வந்திருக்கா? கிளாஸ் போயிட்டு இருக்கு, இன்னும் முடியல. அதுக்கு ஆஃப்லைன் பேட்சா? ஆஃப்லைன் ப்ளஸ் ஆன்லைன். அவர் முடிச்சிருக்காரு. அவனுக்கு பாதி கிளாஸில் போயிட்டுருக்கு. மகாதேவுக்கு 2 நாள் பிரேக் விடவா? சரி. So you will clearly understand what happened here. So our load is equally distributed from here to here. So it actually propagated. So still, if you want to save this animation, you can furtherly you can reduce the time rate. Want to see it as a more clearly. So that is also possible. Yep. And when I go to interpret the results, you will have a graph value also. And the result is, when I said before, the solution interval is actually take place as a 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. For every 0.5 seconds, I get a minimum value and maximum value and average value. Okay, for a total deformations. Okay, when I go to the analysis setting, why I actually get a 0.5 interval means I just input the value as a 0.5 seconds. If I say I want 0.2 intervals, and right click and say generate, okay, so you will notice that you will get a results on every 0.2 seconds, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1, 1.2, 2.4. So just because I give a value of 0.2 in this segment, so that is why you're getting a results on every 0.2 seconds. Also you have an option called auto time stepping. So when I turn on this option, you will get an additional options like initial time steps and minimum time step and maximum time step. So my initial time step is 0.5 and my minimum time step is maybe 0.2 to 0.6. Okay, so what does it means? 0.2 to 0.6. So software can assign any values between that solution interval. So literally I don't assign any solution interval like 0.3 or 0.4. Okay, 0.4 or 0.5, I don't give any values. So software will try to give or assume the value which is between 0.2. Either it can assume 0.2 or else 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6 up to 0.6. So or else between any value it can assign. So we can't say. So we give limitations of value sets, like you can assign any value between 0.2 to 0.6. But the initial time step, like where should I actually start? From the 0. After 0, what is your solution interval? That is 0.5. So what happens if I try to solve the same problem by using this configuration? Right click and say solve. So usually it takes some time because it's an auto time stepping, right? Fine. So when I try to interpret the total deformation, you will notice that are irregular of intervals, but the intervals may be, so initially that time step is 0.5. So it actually started from the 0.5, that is the initial time step. It's constant. If I say it is 0.3, it start from the 0.3 and the interval maybe varies according to our need. So I say that from 0.2 to 0.6 you can use any interval sets. It uses that. Okay, you have a lot of data over there. The curve maybe actually changes. Okay, so today we will see about the basic options which is in the analysis setting and how to do a transient structural analysis. Now tomorrow's session we again see the transient structural analysis by using mode superposition method. Right now we see about a full method. So this is a full method. Usually it takes a lot of time, but when we are using that mode superposition method, problem will get solved very easily. Okay. Yep. So do you have any doubts which is regarding our today's session, both theory and practical sessions? Any doubts up to this session? So when we perform that full method, we will see about another steps. Right now we are solving this problem by using currently one number of steps. How to solve this same problem by using 5 different number of sets. So this is also be covered in our tomorrow session. Up to this session, everything is okay or not? So do you have any doubts? Manoj and Raj Balaji, John?
No, sir.
Good.
No, sir. Fine.
Yep. So we'll share the video also. Just try to practice it. If you are facing any issues, can let me know. Right. Good. So we'll meet on our tomorrow session. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right.